I'm just live. Hi, everybody. Give me one moment.
Getting into Norfolk.
A bobcat, really?
I think I saw it.
Nice. Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. I was waiting quite a while for, I guess, to connect live. But I'm going to make it a short live because I got to know. Watching all these raids happen around the country, amen, thank you. I'm glad that Mr. Holman is using a lot of discretion and leaving those here legally in the country here. That was a relief to see. And secondly, is to Mr. Holman. Mr. Holman himself. Where are the warrants? You said you would arrest any state's mayors, any state's governors, or local officials that try to obstruct you from doing your job. Where are those warrants? That's all I want to know. Or were you not telling us the truth? Because the cities are hiding the criminals. And those who are here in the country illegally are criminals. They need to go home, come through the proper ports. You've been saying it. I want to see that part being enforced. I don't want to see not one state being allowed to resist having this deportation happen. I don't want to see it. It's an affront. And if you're going to start off with all these mass deportations and not enforce these sanctuary cities to adhere to the law, you lied. Where are the arrests? Where? I mean, Gavin Newsom's still running around like an idiot with a chicken with his head cut off. I'm going to get the money. I'm going to get the money. You watch. I'll get my money. That's Gavin Newsom to me. Okay? And yet he still even greeted you, Mr. President. I was wowed by that and your composure. Exceptional. Love it. Too bad I can't follow that. I'm too angry. I'm glad you're president, not me. I'll tell you that. But at the same token, back to Mr. Holman. It's more than getting, the governors of each state are working to secure the border somewhat. Arizona's hee-hawing. Louisiana don't think they've got a border. So just the Gulf is nowhere near secured. We got a lot of work to do. And our southern coast and southern border does not end in Texas. Far from it. The craziness that they're seeing in Florida because of the raids, because they've had a mass influx, because there's no border wall, there's no protection. I'm glad to see ICE hard at work. Very proud to see that. And I am not pleased to see the mayor and other government officials in Illinois defying federal law. If they don't want us to go into the schools to get them, which they didn't go, there was an incident this morning. Secret Service went to a school to investigate a teacher for threatening our president. School board or school people said, no, you're here for ICE. They said, no, we are here to speak to one person. Now, the Secret Service was turned away. But you know that wasn't the end of that. They went directly to where the person lives. So once the school becomes harboring a fugitive from Secret Service, it's a whole different ballgame. So what they did there was kick themselves 2 times over in the shin. Stupid behavior all the way around. Okay, I can tell you my signal from what I see is good. I don't know if it's good for anybody else because apparently my comments are not working. But this can't be happening. These deportations need to happen. And they are not just rounding up 100 immigrants and sending them out of the country. That is not happening. And suggesting that it's happening is wrong. These are people who are in the country, undocumented, and these are the people who are cartel or gang members that they are rounding up. That's all I've seen so far. I have seen them go into a business and remove everybody for verification. Okay, I don't speak Arabic or any foreign language, and YouTube doesn't translate, so I don't know what you're saying. Okay, why 911?
They're referring to 9/11.
Well, maybe. I'm talking about dealing with my country's issues right now. 9/11 is a different topic for me altogether. What I'm talking about is what's happening right now that I need to take care of because I've already had terrorist attacks in Louisiana. And I believe maybe some of the fires were terrorist attacks by cartels, angry that our government said they can't stay in the country. And our government should be furious they're in the country. Our president is going to try and do miraculous things in 4 years. And I'm all for it. I'm afraid of what comes after him, though, because I don't know who to trust. I don't trust. I kind of got, you were talking, okay, thank you. I get that it's hard to be an American today. We have been ridiculed, persecuted on television, social media, as some white supremacists, when Americans are not just white people. Americans come from all over the world, as we should. I believe in immigration, but I believe that people should come here for real purposes of becoming an American. Not coming here to, I'm tired of immigrants even coming into work, because along with them always comes the mules, the traffickers, the drug dealers. I lived in their communities in Lubbock, Texas, just on the outskirts of the city. It was horror, and it was terrifying. You never knew when the next eruption of gunfire was going to go off. I watched a raid in that area just outside of Shallow Water, where 70 illegal immigrants were pulled out of burnt down, rusted, rotted old trailers that they'd been stuffed into by mules. And I do not call them a coyote. I will not insult a coyote. They are pack mules, and they traffic people and drugs. And I lived in their nightmare communities right here in my own country. This is not about deporting good immigrants, people who came through the border the right way. I get it. America needs to work on our vetting processes. But the last 4 years, we've had it all dismantled. So there is none. Now everything's got to be put back in place to secure the country. And that means stopping the flow. That means deporting criminals and keeping those who are legally in our country. I loved, one of the things I loved about Lubbock, Texas, was the privately owned restaurants that cooked real food. I mean, good. Oh my goodness. Was well worth, it was well worth every penny. But those businesses are being overwhelmed. They're being threatened by the cartels. And they're being extorted. Their businesses are suffering. We are not helping the immigrants by keeping the criminals, sending the criminals back to their countries of origin. If their countries refuse them, I say drop them on the shores. Because these people murder, they kill, and then they want compassion. I'm not talking about immigrants. I am not talking about green card workers either. I am talking about the vicious gangs that migrated in full force in my country. If you are in my country and you're not documented, you will go to a center where your background will be checked. And if your background clears, guess what? You get a temporary visa. But you're going to have only so much time to find work. Those are not bad laws. Those are laws that show you're going to be here with a purpose of becoming an American, not squashing my country, not coming and threatening my citizens. I am so sick of my laws being attacked through federal agencies. This is not American. My federal laws are there to protect my country, my people, and my immigrants. Yes, we're going to have issues. We are a country of mass amount of people. And jobs are vanishing like no tomorrow. When was the last time anyone here that's watching this had to apply for a job? How secure do you feel your job is right now? If you think, well, I do labor or I work in fast food, my job's pretty safe. Wrong. 2 years ago, I went into a travel center and it had a McDonald's. I ordered my food. It was automated. It was not a person who spoke back through the speaker. It was a automated response to my order and gave me the total. When I went up to pay for my order, there was one lady, one person in that whole McDonald's. And she was there to take care of handing orders to drive through. Now that one was in Texas. The one in Oklahoma, I went inside the McDonald's. There was a kiosk to order and 2 people working the whole McDonald's. Everything was digital and automated, from my burger being put together to my fries being pulled out of the grease. Even the bagging was automated. The 2 people that were there, one handled handing the drive-through customers their food, and one handled in-store. If you think your job is safe, think twice. Now, everybody started warning that this was going to be a struggle, that we were going to come after each other and try to fight for jobs. that automation was going to take out jobs. And it got such a big backlash with Ford. They stopped using half their automation and rehired a lot of their employees before leaving the country. Now they are in Mexico, a fully 100% automated facility that only has about 1,600 people on the entire plant. Most of those are security people who watch the gate, that watch, the fencing, and monitor inside for theft. The rest, well, now those are actually getting laid off even in Mexico because they're being replaced with AI. And that is, your inventory, that is your uh, paperwork. People not necessary. We are losing jobs. Our country is hemorrhaging jobs. And I have seen so many people saying, I just had to train my replacement. And it wasn't a person. I should never hear that in my country. Never. That means, well, what are you going to do when it's your company that goes automated like they did at the shipping yards, at the ports? 90% of that is automated because the port workers went on strike and acted like idiots, demanding excessively amounts. The second strike that they tried to impose cooked them, because when they did the strike, it gave the company opportunity to automate most of their jobs. And now I think there's less than 100 people working on the ports. Everything is pretty much automated. Is that the America you want to live in? What are those people going to do? Those guys thought they were going to be buying $1 million yachts like everybody else. So they say. I could never buy $1 million yacht. I could never even dream of owning a boat. I got a paddle boat. It leaks. It was given to me. We fixed it. I can't use it now because I'm too old to row the damn thing. So you're preaching to the choir here when I'm watching jobs bleeding out of my country. Stores shutting their doors. Well, most of the stores that are shutting are mega brands. And they don't care about you. They don't care about us. They don't care about our jobs. Walmart got the hint and is not closing as many stores, only where they reside in states that allow shoplifting and theft. Those Walmarts have closed. But like our community, no, you get arrested if you shoplift here, even when it was legal elsewhere. Thank goodness we didn't go stupid. I love my country and I love my people. And the deportations are absolutely necessary. And when I mention my people, I do include immigrants because they are. And these people are some of the most vulnerable. But Holman is not, let me repeat this. I've been watching raid after raid after raid. And he is releasing countless documented immigrants. He is not holding them hostage, as Chicago is claiming. That is not happening. But what Chicago did was interfere with the Secret Service. And I can't wait to see what Trump's going to do about that. Because it was about a teacher that they went to the school for. They asked for the teacher to be brought out. They would not bring her out. And it wasn't ICE. It was Secret Service. It was over a threat to our president's life. So whoever that person is better stay in that school because they have not released the name yet. But I guarantee you, Secret Service is all over their home, their computers, everything. Good. I'm tired of this stuff. I am tired of fanatics thinking they have a right to run my country and exclude everyone else from existence. I'm tired of that. I've seen enough of it on and off in my own areas. But out here, let's just say you go too woke and you will be set straight. Not everybody here is religious. However, everyone who resides here believes freedom is our right in our own country, and we are willing to defend it. Our townships may be small, but our numbers are many, and we will always be armed. We don't have we have an immigrant, a legal immigrant, owns a wonderful restaurant in my little town. We have less than 500 people actually living here. Wonderful restaurant, great food, a little pricey, wonderful people. So I don't have an issue with that. I think that's great. You came here to work, you're putting into the community, and you're interacting with the community. You're not acting like you've got something to hide. And I love that. That's the American way. And this immigrant, I hope, becomes an American. I hope it greatly. You don't have to agree with everything I've said here today. Absolutely don't. You have your right to your opinion. However, we don't learn how to communicate with each other without offense to every word that's said. We will continue to go downhill. We are at a precipice where our technology can either help us up into the future like it's supposed to be doing, or, well, Terminator movie wasn't too far off how it'll be done, but most of us will just starve to death because of no jobs. And that is the reality. It's all over TikTok, it's all over YouTube, it's all over Instagram, it's all over Facebook about all these wonderful people who have worked very hard to train replacement systems for their own jobs. Michigan should see the opportunity that is given to them right now. America needs a new industrial revolution. We do. And many companies that made our steel, that made our copper, that made other vital elements for our infrastructure are shut down. Good riddance to Ford. But somebody needs to take over that land where the factory was and eminent domain it if Ford still owns it and put it to some good use. I think that it will be easier to get funding for rebuilding infrastructure and our manufacturing than it's going to be to get money for immigrants or anyone else right now. That's the reality. Rebuilding is never easy. And unless you live in an area that's been totally devastated, you don't understand what you're facing. And I'm praying for all of you, including me. We have a bigger fight than I've ever seen take place in my country. And we knew we were under attack, but we didn't know how to deal with it because we're used to fighting with guns, weapons. This is a whole different kind of attack. And we have to see it for what it is. The technology that Google and all of them let me mess around with as far as open AI is so limited, so restricted, totally not useful unless you're a kid who wants to create a fantasy picture. Now, of course, there are levels that you get. Your free level, your pro level, you pay for more, better service. And that's your businesses. Your businesses are paying to have your data entry jobs replaced, to have your uh, accounting jobs replaced, having just about any job that required you to sit at a computer is going to be gone. And if you don't realize it now, what I've been saying for a year is going to come true. You will need an act of Congress to be able just to get a job, because they're not going to encourage us when they could hold us down. But if we don't rise up against it, it will replace our jobs. And we will then be thrown out of our homes, as we're already seeing in record numbers. I've been watching what I call the nomad channels. They drive around the country. They go to different places. They will not or don't want to take on mortgages and cars, and because they can't afford to live that way. Their jobs did not allow them to do that. So they found other ways to earn money while they travel around the country and live out of cars, their vans, and small RVs. These people rejected the way things were because they could not exist in it no matter how much they earned. That is not homeless by choice. That's forced homelessness. And the attack I've seen, like on California's homeless, where just a month before the fires, he declared it illegal to be homeless in the Palisades. Illegal in San Diego, illegal in Malibu. Yeah. So attacking homeless people now is a thing. I'm not down with that. Especially when I could be the next homeless person, or you could be the next homeless person. How many of you right now are watching this live feed? And I promise you, it's glitchy as hell because YouTube does it. My signal is fine. But to make sure people don't watch very long, don't listen very long, they glitch my signal. And I've caught them doing it countless times. I've caught them trying to keep me from uploading my videos by constant hang up, glitch, that I never had before. Not to this extreme. So I must be saying something they don't want you to hear. What could that be? That you're in danger and it's more than your border? $3 million jobs in the United States gone in almost 14 months now. Gone. Never coming back. 3 million jobs. How are those people going to pay those overpriced rents? They could barely pay them with the job. How are they going to pay it now? They're not. And if their cars don't get repoed, they'll have a place to live. If the cars get repoed, they're on the street, a burden to the wealthier of society with their dirt. Excuse me, these are human beings. These are my fellow human beings. Stop treating them like they're worthless. You took their worth away by designing a whole entire system that could replace every job they had. 3 million people lost their jobs in the tech industry in 13 months. And this is good for America? Am I getting a little bit of double talk here in what the greatness of AI is? Because all I'm hearing are people between 19 and 35 saying, I just trained my replacement and they're not human. And I don't have a job and there will be no job for me. What do I do? Everywhere I'm applying, they've already implemented AI and aren't hiring. What do I do? 3 million people. 3 million. And everybody is right now wanting to ignore the homeless. But what they're ignoring is the problem creating the homelessness. Because big money, they want to push this. They say human beings are temperamental. They are disruptive at their jobs. They are not reliable. Big problem with reliability. And when I was running my business 20 years ago, that was a problem. So, yeah, this is what it means to work with people. However, when they're buying into the automation part of it especially, they're being told this machinery will last you decades. You'll never pay another human. Okay, my electric bill to run my car company and assemble my cars just quadrupled. How am I going to pay this? This is your corporate thinking. I'll raise the price. That'll cover the cost of making them. Even though it's costing me more to keep automation than it costs me with humans, I'm going to keep the automation. That's what companies are saying. Did we over-attitude ourselves out of our own jobs? Did we get too cocky about the right to work? Did we? Is that why they don't want you anymore? When they can put an automated arm to put your part in your car, on your window, on your grocery shelves. Is it worth your jobs to get your attitude when you're at work? To talk down about your job, on the job, and then go home and do it again. Then get back up and go to work and do it again. And demand a paycheck? I wouldn't hire you. I'm sorry, I would not. If you're going to walk into my business, that has to have a good reputation. Because I was a small business owner. And you're going to start getting on your YouTube or your TikTok, Instagram. Oh, what an awful place. I got to clean this toilet. It's just, oh my God. And the toilet's basically clean because this is a wealthy person's home that they're doing this in. Okay? Listen, your reputation used to have a value in our country. Your personal reputation. Because your identity was not your junk. It was the being inside the body. Now, I'm not going all biblical because I don't believe in that garbage either. I do, however, believe in God. But that's another story for another time. But I got a message for you guys. And that's if you want to survive what's happening right now, not the future. It's happening already in our country. If you want to survive it, you better start thinking about how to get a business started. So when these big companies bail out, it don't destroy the economy. Start using eminent domain forces that your local government uses against you to retrieve these properties from these big corporates and make them your own. Start manufacturing goods that are show quality, none of this artificial garbage. I'd give anything to buy a chair and know it was American made and not pay 10 times more for it than I gotta pay to buy a plastic Chinese piece of crap. Is that what you're in for? Are you in America to purchase plastic garbage that's not gonna last very long? Or you want a real chair for a fair price? And if I'm paying $50 for one chair, that ain't fair. Not when I'm making $7, $8, $10 an hour. That ain't fair. That's price gouging. That needs to be under control. If we don't start demanding for these changes through our local governments and getting rid of these politicians that do not want America to succeed, do not want Americans to feel they have freedom to stand up for themselves. If we want that kind of government, we got it. We are there. Now we got a president that says, you've got one opportunity. I can only be president one more time. Either you get 100% behind me, or you face the consequences of what's to come. And that's a good president. That's a real president. And guess what? He didn't have to live among the people to understand what they're going through. Did not. Great man. And I will honor him for what he's already done. But we Americans gotta be the ones to stand up. Actually, if you ask me, from what I've seen going on in other countries, we all have to stand up and unite under one voice and say no more. Enough is enough. American Granny out.
I was trying to